Hello friends, I'm super excited to show you my new favorite game, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, a game that I've been beta testing since the beginning of this year, but in August now it was released for the public, and I think it's just amazing because it is actually having the whole world and all houses that exist for real in the whole world in this simulated game. It's run by Microsoft's data centers called Microsoft Azure, and I'm going to show you in this video that, well, at least all of the houses that I could think of actually is there in the game. So let's have a look at where I live in Trångsund, and let's fly to Vallentuna and Norrland, Strömstad, northern Norway, and have a look at my friend Magnus' house in Flen. And let's go to Thailand and check out Gan's summer house in Siam, and even Bangkok, where Aton and T lives, and my brother Peter in Skövde. So here we are lined up at the runway at Bromma in Stockholm, and we're just taking off here in a Cessna 152 propeller plane. We're taking off in a direction west-north, so if we would continue straight ahead here, we would fly past Arlanda, but we are going to instead turn to the right and fly over Stockholm city. I have to say also that I've read now on the internet that Sweden and the terrain and the cities in Sweden maybe need more improvement than other countries in Flight Simulator 2020, but I'm still mind blown by the details and the feeling of reality. So if this is not the best that you can get out of Flight Simulator, and it will get even better in the future, this is astounding. So here we go. We have taken off and turned back in a south direction, passing straight over Stockholm city. As you can see far down south there, Globen, very easy landmark to recognize in Stockholm. So now we're just flying over Stockholm city, where we have the train station and so on. And here we are now just flying over Södermalm, and we're getting closer to Globen. And just behind Globen, you see the new Tele2 Arena, a football stadium. It was opened up a couple of years ago, and we're flying just straight south, following the Highway 73. And you can just look at this fantastic lightning and the clouds. So it's, yeah, breathtaking. It's a bit extra hard actually to fly the airplane with all the realistic settings and do these outside views, because when I'm trying to record this in real time, when I'm outside the airplane, I lose control of the actual joystick. But here we are flying just up branta backen in Trångsund, and yeah, this is me flying then over Drevviken, the little lake that we have outside just where we live. Here I'm coming back again and trying to make it a little easier to see exactly where we live. Let's try to aim up, going back up for the road called Brantabacken here. And there we soon see the house. It's, yes, just to the right here on the, there we pass just over it, and coming up here And let's go to the next scenery. Here I'm at the Vallentuna airport, just a small grass field with my friend Tommy's airplane. He has an X-Cub in real life, and I've been flying with him actually 2 times in exactly something that looks like this, the same color and everything. And here we are just passing over the Vallentuna road. His house is very close to this airport, and this is especially funny to fly because it's just like I've been flying with him for real in an airplane, exactly like this, exactly flying over his home, which is coming up right here. You see this open field, and his house is right ahead of the airplane. So let's see if we can get a bit closer look. I'll turn off the engine to idle. I put down the flaps, makes it easier to fly slow, as slow as it is possible. And his house is just to the right of the wing here. And let's fly in over so we can see it as close as possible without crashing into the trees, please. Okay. Here we are. Now just under the airplane across the road. There is his house. We're flying over it just now here. So that was nice. Okay, now we are back in the Cessna and we're flying in Stuvsta, another part of the community Huddinge, just to see if we can see where Lars and Gan live. And here I'm coming in a bit too fast. I can see the interjunction here where Coop is. I'm flying over the Coop supermarket, and I have to turn immediately to the left, and I'll try to just pass over the road here, and just down here is where his house was, but that was a bit too fast. Okay, never mind. All right, but this is much more exciting because this is once again with the X-Cub, and we're taking off from an airfield. It has been closed down in reality, but it was still available here in Flight Simulator 2020, and we are going to take off from this airfield that is in a place called Rossön, and we're going to fly to where Lars lives with his when he's visiting his mother, Gunnel Berlin. She lives in a very nice house close to something called Nagasjön, the Naga Lake. And I've been there many years ago. It's a very, very beautiful place in the inner parts of Norrland, northern Sweden. So we're taking off here with the Cub and flying first over the lakes where Rossön is. Let's see if I remember. No, I don't know. I don't remember what the name of that lake is. There's thousands of lake in Sweden, and especially in this part of inland Sweden. But here we are, getting close to Nagasjön. We're flying over it now, and we are going to pass Lars and his mother Gunnel's house to the left in the up here. As you see, it's totally stunning with the light when you can see the sun is going down and the shadows it leaves and the reflections on the lake. Okay, so here I'm trying to line up the airplane so it's going to be easy to see the actual houses. So I'm flying at 50 knots or something with the flaps down, and that feels actually very, very stable with this X-Cub airplane. This airplane is very well known to be used for flying in the bushes and the jungles in like Indonesia and Africa, because it's so easy to land on very, very short landing strips. Anyway, we're getting close to passing over the house of Gunnel. So you see it now here, just in front of the airplane, to the right, in the middle part of houses here. That's where Lars' mama Gunnel lives, and that's where Lars spends a lot of his time, and gone also, of course, when she's in Sweden. So we're just passing it now to the right of the airplane. Beautiful place. All right, I made a total 360-degree turnaround now over the Nagasjön lake, and I just thought for fun, let's try to land in the field just outside of their house. So I'm coming in here. I think I'm coming in way too fast. You can see it's almost 80 knots. That's way too fast, but yeah, I'm bouncing off the field here. It's like, all right, 3 bounces, like 3 landings in a row. Not very nice, but I survived, and now there I was parked outside. Okay, let's do the next flight, still in the Cessna. Now I'm in Strömstad on the west coast of Sweden, starting at Näsinge airfield, just outside Strömstad. I'm lifting up here. The first thing I want to do before I fly into Strömstad is to just have a look at my old friend from when I was young, Ken, his house, because he lives just by the airfield. So I know I have to turn around, go back in east-north direction, and I know there is a small lake just outside there that I can orientate with, and then I turn, and down there I see it. This is the house of Ken, my good old friend, just to the left outside the window there. So it's all there. Totally fantastic. And all right, let's go straight west, southwest, and go towards Strömstad, where I grew up most of the time when I was young, and where my mother and stepfather Sakkari still lives. So let's fly and try to see their house. Okay. It's this, you can almost call it a little fjord that goes in here that you can use as an orientation for finding Strömstad. It's in the evening, so you can see the sun is just about to go down. Totally fantastic lighting. And my computer is not that very advanced or high specifications, and still I think it's really smooth, as you can see. All right, here we are coming up Strömsvattnet. So just in front of us is the little town of Strömstad, where I did grow up. And well, just if you look at the point of the engine, the propeller just in front of you, that's where my mother and Sakkari lives. So we are going to pass just outside there. Again, putting out the flaps so I can fly as slow as possible without stalling the airplane. Little turbulent here, or at least shaky when I'm flying, but here we go. So yeah, to the right here, so the place where my mother and Sakkari lives, just by the water here. Just passing it a little too narrow, so I can't see exactly their house, but we'll continue flying over. There's the school where my little sister Lisa went to high school. It didn't exist when I lived in Strömstad. My school is a bit further up to the left, but here we go, passing over the bridge, and we are flying into the little city center of Strömstad. Maybe we would have seen more if I put the time to be in the middle of the day, but I also think that the lightning effect and the clouds is so beautiful when the sun is almost going down. But here we are flying in over the little city center of Strömstad, and it's, to my eyes, really well done with the houses and so on. Of course, it's not all perfect. There's some bugs and some generic houses that don't look like they should, but still, here's the small harbor. We're passing over the hotel here, Scandic, on this half island. And if we would continue now, we would go out over the ocean, and you would get to the island of Koster, which is the most western point of Sweden. But we don't want to do that, so let's attempt to make a left turn here so that we can fly back. The map data that Microsoft used to generate this 3D world is of course not perfect everywhere. You see, it looks like a sunken boat just to the left here of the wing. That's actually the ferry that goes to Norway. To my knowledge, it hasn't sunk yet, but that's how Microsoft have interpreted it. Here we are flying back the same way we came. So now we're flying over the very, very oversized shopping center of Strömstad. I mean, Strömstad is just a small town with a couple of thousand inhabitants, but there's so many Norwegians coming normally and shopping there. That's why they have the big shopping center we're passing now. And now we are flying over that area where my mother's house is. So we are just passing over it now. If you are really quick and look to the right, just under the wing there, that's where their house. This is maybe the visually most impressive part of this whole video, because here we're flying in North Norway, and we're going to visit where I spent the first years of my life and many summers with my grandparents. So what you're seeing right now is that we're flying in from the ocean, and the island to the left here are called Stött. That's where my grandparents' parents grew up. So I've been on these islands also many times. And what we're doing now is we're flying inwards the country and the fjord. What you see to the left here is a small harbor town called Ørnes, and that's one of the stops of the Hurtigruten that goes following the coastal line of Norway from Bergen all the way up to the very north of Norway. And here we are flying now into the fjord where my grandparents lived. It's called Glomfjorden, and the little town where they lived and I used to visit in the summers, and I stayed there the first years of my life, is called Glomfjord. So here I'm passing a bit too close for comfort to the mountain, so I'm steering out towards the fjord. And yeah, you can also see to the left here that there are some glitches and bugs when it comes to how the lakes are interpreted. It looks a bit strange there, you can see, but generally it is done so very nice, so realistically. So it's almost like being there for real. This is how I remember that the fjord looked like. I've been driving with my grandfather so many times on this road down there to the left. And the only thing I miss here is that I remember there were some power lines going from the mountains on one side to the other, and with this big orange basketballs, what you should call it, to alert low-flying airplanes that they should not run into the power lines. Maybe that will come in a future update in the flight simulator. But here we are now, almost into the end of the fjord, and you can see it, Glomfjord, the little town to the left up there in the mountains. So This is one of the most beautiful places I've been to in the world. And also many years ago I was there last time, but this is really one of the places I would like to go for in real life back and visit. So here you can also see the power plant that is in the very end of the fjord, and my grandfather used to go there and work as a consultant for them. I was going with him many times there, so I'm very familiar with it. But here we have to turn because it's a very, very closed fjord with high mountains all around it, and we'll try to run up to the actual town of Glomfjord. I think they have maybe misinterpreted how the river runs there. It looks a bit too big, but I remember there were rivers in Glomfjord. You can see the cars are even driving in the river, so that's maybe not accurate. But anyway, here we're coming up to more where the city center was. You can see now just to the right of the airplane is a school. I remember that school, exactly where it was. And if we just go past it here, then here, down there on this road, this is where I grew up with my grandparents. We're flying over it just now, their house. Can't say exactly which one of these it was, but it was there. And now we're flying over the little city center, and the big factory that you see there used to be Norsk Hydro that were making chemicals. I believe it's been shut down now. Here we changed scenery again. We're back in Sweden in the Cessna, and here I'm just flying in Flen, which is about 1 hour south driving of Stockholm, and this is where my friend Magnus has his summer house. So I just wanted to fly by and see if I can spot that. It was not easy because just as in real life, his summer house is hidden among the trees, the big pine trees and björks. So I'm trying again here from the other side, going past a little lake I know is just north of his summer house. I'm going past the lake, and I know this is the Loviselundsvägen I'm seeing there, so I'm turning sharply to the left, and I think that soon, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is one of these houses, the one we're passing right there to the left now. That I think is his summer house. So it wasn't easy to spot, but that's where it should be. Okay, now we're taking a big step. We are in Thailand, and this is a nice little resort place called Cha Am, which is maybe, I remember, is it like 1 hour drive away from Hua Hin? But it's a very, very beautiful place. I have to say also the airplane that I'm flying here, the Icon A5, is a real airplane. I thought first when I saw it that it was like a conceptual ID, but this is a real airplane. You can buy it. It's only cost, what was it, $400,000, 4 miljoner kronor. But if you have that kind of money to spend, it is actually an airplane that you can just put on a trolley behind your car, drive somewhere, put on the wings, and just fly it like a car. So it's like a flying car, and it's at least in a simulator, it's very easy to fly and maneuver. So yeah, it's nice. Anyway, my sister-in-law Gan, she have a very, very beautiful big apartment here in a big high story building overlooking the beach. You can see her apartment is in this big house that you see now just in front of the airplane, and we're passing it now to the right. I think it was on the 5th or 7th floor. I don't really exactly remember, but we've stayed there a couple of times, and it's just amazing, really nice location. Okay, so here we landed with the Icon A5, and I put down the rudder so that I can steer it in the water, and let's go to the beach just outside Gan's house, and go up and have a coffee with her. Almost feels so realistic that you feel like you could almost do that. Okay, now we are at I think it's pronounced Don Muang, the old international airport before they built the new one like 15 years ago in Bangkok. So we're taking off from this airport just north of Bangkok. And the idea here is that we're going to try to spot the house of Ton A and Little T. But this is not easy because Bangkok is a huge town, and that's something also that it very realistically shows in the simulator, because it just goes on and on and on, like you can see here in this screen. A bit turbulent also, like it very often is in tropical countries. So I know that one way to at least know that I'm in the right area is to find the big river that runs through all of Bangkok, the Chao Phraya River, and I know that that's not too far away from where Ton and A's house is. But since they live exactly here in the middle of the city, it's almost impossible to spot just that house in this big town. But you can see I've located at least the river, and here we are following that. What I'm looking out for here, that when I'm in the right sector in Bangkok, there's the Chatuchak market and the Chatuchak well, what do you call it, park, which should be like a big green area in all this concrete and road. So I'm looking down here through the airplane, and I think it is just up there to the right out of the window. You see that green area? That should be at least in the area where A and Ton have their house in the vicinity. But I can already tell you now that I don't think that I will dare to fly as low so I can spot their individual house, but I'm pretty sure that it is there, because so far all the houses that I've been looking for everywhere in the world, they've been in this simulator. So it's fantastic. Anyway, let's see if I can align the airport with the park here and then make a right turn towards the highway that you can see where cars are to the right. That should give me at least the correct area of Bangkok. And now I'm flying with the sun in a low position, but it's also fantastically beautiful when you let the time be in the night, so you can see all the lights from from the city. But then it's harder, of course, to even have a fair chance to see individual houses. But I would say that the house of Anton is somewhere around here, even though I am totally lost to seeing at which the individual road it could possibly be. So at least it's very, very beautiful scenery. Now we're back in Sweden, and we are at an airfield just outside of Skövde, where my brother Peter lives. So let's take off from this airfield with my Cessna 152. As you notice, I am only flying these simpler airplanes because they are easier to understand with all the bells and knobs and buttons and what they are doing. So I'm trying to learn them first, and then once I get comfortable with them, I can also use the bigger airplanes with more technical things to understand. Okay, we're taking off. I know that we're taking off now in a southern direction, and since the airfield is north of Skövde, yeah, you can see it here on the map here. I know that the town should be just south, but now when I'm heading up here, I'm just getting a bit confused. Is it to the left or to the right? Maybe it's to the left here. Let's have a look. That looks very country-like, and Skövde is not a big city, but it should at least be bigger than that. So let's go to the right and see. Yeah, this is Skövde. I know that because I know that there's a lake that I used to go swimming in with my brother when we visited my father, who used to live here in Skövde also. That lake, I think, is the one that I can see to the left. Yeah, here it is. And I also know that there's the big hospital there. I remember that was the last time I saw my father before he passed away. He was at this hospital here in Skövde. And further to the back here, if you're looking out of the window, is the area of Skövde called Ryd. That's where Peter, my brother, lives. So he lives down here in one of these houses. Don't know exactly which one, but one of these houses in Ryd is where he lives. Well, anyway, that was it. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of this fantastic scenery that you can get out of the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And if you would like me to fly past your house, then just let me know. It's so fun. So I wouldn't mind at all. Just tell me, and I'll make a video for you, trying to get as close to the house as possible. So thank you very much for watching.